what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. All right. Who's not chilling is this LSU recruiting class. Because, my God, man, it's hot right now. And let's, there's a great scene, Taylor, in the Two Towers extended editions. You watched the extended editions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
In the Two Towers, Boromir and Faramir, right?
I do.
And it's after the Battle of Osgiliath, and Boromir's giving this speech to everyone. They have taken back Osgiliath, and he's giving this speech, and he basically says that, on this day, we drink. This is a good day. Worry not about what the future holds, for today is a good day, and on this day, we drink. Well, on January 8th, 2024, if you like recruiting, LSU's 2025 class is one of the sexiest, most amazing, attractive things you will ever see. On this day, we drink. It's recruiting. It's the 25 class, which, again, let's be clear, is just this, December. So it's not it's far away, but I think in a lot of people's heads, and maybe I'm just projecting, my head included, 25 feels like it's still 2 years in advance. No, the 25 class early sign day is this December. So we're here in the race is starting. But on this day, regardless of what the future holds, you have the number one class in the country. More impressively than being ranked number one in the country is you have the number one running back committed in the country. You have the number one wide receiver committed in the country. You've got the number one linebacker from Louisiana. You've got the number one tight end. You have the number one O-lineman. You have the number one wide receiver in Louisiana. And you have the number one prospect on every single recruiting service. Number one prospect overall on every single recruiting service. And it's a quarterback, Bryce Underwood. The equivalent, you would hope at least, of drafting a franchise quarterback that goes on to lead you to your 15 years of championship relevancy. I mean, it's truly just an astounding class as it sits here today. And I'll read you what On3 Director of Scouting and Recruiting Charles Power wrote about Bryce Underwood and what this means for LSU. Quote, it's a long quote, so get ready. Anytime you land a top quarterback, but also a top quarterback who is the number one overall prospect in a cycle, it's a program-changing addition. He's a franchise-type prospect. His combination of upside and on-field resume makes for a player who not only has potential to make an early impact in college, but has a ton of room for development. The talent can ultimately be a game-changer at Baton Rouge and then a high NFL draft pick. When you look at what LSU is assembling in 2025, he's the crown jewel of what looks to be a phenomenal early start for the Tigers. Pairing him with the elite skill LSU is bringing in puts LSU in position to compete at the highest level once those guys get to campus. It's safe to say LSU is recruiting at a national championship level. They have done well on offense, and if they can get the defense right, LSU will be a problem in the SEC and on the national scene if they continue this trajectory. A few things there. Not the least of which is, how the hell did we arrive at the point where we're getting the number one quarterback after having two quarterback Heismans in 5 years and the defense sucks? How have we arrived at a point in LSU football history where it's if we can only get the defense right, we'll be okay. I think us old heads can appreciate kind of the absurdity of that. But obviously the much more impactful stuff there is just this. Bryce Underwood. And Corey Moore and Harlan Berry, and as I was alluding to, the number one linebacker in the state of Louisiana, four-star Keelan Moses from U-High, brother of Dylan Moses. Dylan Moses goes to Alabama because he believes in the coach there, BK, selling the belief here. And that was another thing you take away from reading about all these articles, all these recruits talking about the vision that Brian Kelly is selling them on. The vision that Brian Kelly is selling them on of building another national championship team. The top tight end in the state, that's four-star out of Sulphur, tight end J.D. LaFleur. The top offensive lineman, that's four-star Brett Bordelon. A top receiver in the state. That's Teron Francis, 4-star out of Edna Carr. And all of them very excited for BK and very excited to have Bryce Underwood now added to this mix. So on this day, vibes are impossibly high. You know, with recruiting, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't know where this all ends, but it is even a testament of the work that's been done that you have such strong early commitments too, where guys feel very bought in. Everything could change. Dylan Raiola moved to Georgia and went to Buford and to go to every single game every single weekend in Athens, and then ends up going to Nebraska. So everything is subject to change. Do not lose sight of that. But it's still a testament to to a ton of great work, great recruiting, a lot of hard work that's put in, and a vision that is being sold. Also, do you have the numbers in front of you on Underwood? I mean, he's like 27-1 as a starter. I think he's won like back-to-back state championships.
Yeah, well, also remember the absurd numbers we talked about with Harlem Berry, and you were like, wait, that's a single season, not a career?
Yeah.
T-Bob, it's the same thing here. In this past season, 3165, so 3,165 yards, 40 passing touchdowns in one season, and that's in high school ball, and you're like, oh, well, he throws for a lot of yards. He has to have a lot of turnovers, too. Nope, 40 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions.
Good-looking kid, too.
Yeah.
Magnetic. I mean, actually, physically good-looking as well. Like, if he ends up being awesome, he will make so much money off of advertising in the age of NIL. He's already huge, too. He's like 6'3", 205. And he's 17 years old?
Yeah, he still has another
he's
year
young,
of high school ball.
And he's young for his grade. I think his birthday's in August. So look, it's fantastic. And I think it's a little too early to have the conversations about, but if Nuss is going to start 2 years, and what does he do? And what's it mean for Colin Hurley? You let these things fall where they may. Who knows if he even comes here, right? But if he does, because I love Colin Hurley. I told you that. His kind of drive, his vision, his kind of obsession, the fact that he's so young and yet so willing to play up and kind of put himself out there. I love all the intangibles and everything I've seen out of Hurley. You never know who's going to win these jobs. Nobody ever thought Stetson Bennett would run Justin Fields off or others, right? So you never know how these things work out, but I'll be damned if it doesn't feel very excited to have the number one wide receiver in the country, the number one running back, and the number one quarterback, who's the number one overall prospect. And it comes at a time where you just saw another Heisman Trophy winner, you know? And when you talk about selling people, when we talked about the value of the Heisman, right? In a 9-3 season, what's the value of the Heisman? I'm not saying that this is why Underwood comes here, but it certainly doesn't hurt when you watch two quarterbacks with completely different supporting staffs, or completely different staffs, completely different elements, two quarterbacks in 5 years go and win the Heisman down here. Because you get these dogs. You're going to have dogs to throw to. You're going to have great running backs. And now under BK, you're going to have a great offensive line and a great head coach. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.